Okay, folks. So I want to share just a little bit more information and touch just a little bit on this whole Brandon Biggs thing. This guy that's supposed to be a prophet, and it's Brandon Biggs. Biggs with two G's, by the way, and then his initials, of course, BB. And the whole Brandon things, I think, might have something to do with
I saw
creating.
Trump rising up, and then I saw an attempt on his life.
Yeah.
This bullet flew by his ear, and it came so close to his head that it busted his eardrum.
So now, again, because I'm repetitive, I'll say it again, like I have in a previous video. I'm not sure whether or not Trump's eardrum could be busted. We don't know. I don't have any information on the medical reports or anything from the hospital. So he didn't predict it exact, even though he does state that in another video, in an updated video that he did. He states that he predicted it exact. But folks, I do believe this guy is like just being used as a conduit to kind of put the information out there, because then they can say, well, look, we did put information out there. You just didn't want to believe it. And they do use people like this. They use influencers and tools and people like this. They have many of them in their toolboxes. And, just this guy, this was from a video that he did back in 2023. And you can see he's got the red horseman there on the thing. And he was just preaching and going on and on and on about time and stuff like that. And he claims that this video here was him predicting some stuff going on with Biden and stuff going on with Israel. And it was just put up like 10, 11 days ago. Will Joe Biden be removed and Kamala Harris step in? Prophetic. And this was at the beginning of the video. So the recording where he's talking about it was recorded back on 10/2/23. Okay. And this is his channel. I don't want to promote it too much. I just find it very curious because there are a lot of people that are signing on to this narrative that this guy is some kind of a prophet of some kind. But, I just really have to be careful on that stuff, folks. And it's very curious that, this was a comment pinned on his video where he gives a link to the original video where he made the prediction on the original video recording where he made this so-called prophetic prediction. And it's supposedly at the 11-minute mark. But if you really look at it at the exact point where he says something about seeing Trump rising up and then seeing the bullet whizzing past actually occurs at 11:06, okay, in the video, which, I mean, if you really want to break that down, that's 666 seconds, okay? Everything like this with these numbers, it just, signs and symbols rule this world. And again, with the at 11:08 was when he talks about he saw the attempt on his life, saw Trump rising up, and then I saw attempt on his life. 11:08, you have 11 times 8, 88. That's your dual 33s. Because when you split the 8 in half, that's your 33. And when you have two 8s, you have a dual 33. But I really think, and this is really curious, because this was in the video where he was talking about time and all of that kind of stuff. And it's very interesting because he ends up showing a clock in this video here.
It's on faster, and he said,
oh, I can't turn it up any louder, darn it.
I'm praying. He said, I want you to pray for more time.
Pray for more time. Did you see that? The time? What was the time there when he actually says that? When it cuts to the clock, what do you see? What time does it say on the clock? Right around 9:11, right? I mean, not exact. It's 9:10 and a few seconds, but I mean, when you're watching it, it just flashes. It appears to start out at 9:11. All right. That's not a coincidence that in this guy's video where he's talking about making these prophetic, statements and issuing these prophecies. Pray for more time. And it just happens to pan to a clock showing 9:11. I don't think that's a coincidence. And I do believe that these characters like this are used for a reason, because right now this guy is helping to paint the narrative that Trump is, ordained and chosen by God to save us. And in fact, he even says that in so many words. I find the red horseman here on his shirt back when he did this video in October last year very curious. And just some of his mannerisms, the way he throws his hands around. I seriously, myself personally, I do not believe that this guy is some kind of a prophet, that he's being given and privy to special information to make predictions about things. I mean, as far as this whole thing with Trump, I think a lot of people probably could have predicted that. I think a lot of people had already predicted it. I myself, one of them, that I've already been saying that they're going to try to do something more. They have to get rid of him in order, to suit a narrative, right? And this whole narrative of it being, the failure on the part of Secret Service and stuff, it's very curious to me. And some of the additional information coming out, and him pointing in the direction of the shooters is curious to me. But this guy here, I do believe this guy is a false prophet. I really do. He's going to be this big, just on fire for Jesus kind of guy and moving forward. And there are a lot of people A lot of people, especially here in the United States, that see that as a threat because they see this whole moral dogmatic, so to speak, thing playing out where we're going to end up having to abide by the rules of the church. You know, that the federal government of the United States is going to end up telling people what they can and cannot say and what churches they can and cannot go to and all of that. There's going to be this big religious reform and this big, you know, type of revival, right? Like this big religious revival. And there's a reason why they do stuff like this too, because I mean, look at the money and look at the numbers. 6,456,675 raised already on this GoFundMe. And then you have this other one here that's supposedly for the daughter of Corey Comparatori, CC, which is interesting. You got two L's in Allison's name. The dude that is running this particular thing is Jason Bubb and more BB. I mean, the duality is pretty interesting. This one is being done by Meredith O'Rourke. And just, yeah, Corey Comparator, CC. And then the other character is David Dutch, right? And this chart is interesting to me. I'll do another video and show a little bit more on that. But for right now, I wanted to just kind of stick a little bit to this whole Brandon Biggs, folks. Don't fall for this. I mean, it can be a form of entertainment, most certainly. It is very curious that there are some other things that he's made predictions on where things have come true, but that doesn't necessarily mean that this guy is like being chosen by God and being fed information from God and all of that kind of stuff. It's just, and from anything beyond this world, because I myself personally, I believe myself that he's just another tool in their toolbox being used to disseminate information. And he's been given information ahead of time on events up and coming, and he's been told to, you know, create a script, create a narrative, do something with it. And it's definitely helping to create a narrative. And the time thing, I have to point that out again because he provides the link for it and he tells everybody that 11 minutes, at 11 minutes is when he talks about it. But it's technically, if you really look at it, it's at 11 minutes, 6 seconds where he mentions Trump. And then 11 minutes, 8 seconds when he talks about the attempt on his life. So just, it's not a coincidence. It's just not. And just don't be falling for this false prophet stuff, okay? Because it's also a good distraction. I mean, and quite frankly, it's already distracted me long enough for this video, so I'm going to go ahead and end it. And I'm going to try to do a little bit more information on the Trump thing too, and a little bit more just curiosities with some of the dualities, Trump tariff, TT, Trump tariff threat, TTT. I mean, there's just a little bit of curiosities. You got all kinds of duality going on. MPP begins, and LLMM up here. So there's just this curious numbers and stuff. Really, is all I want to point out. So I don't see any reason why it would raise any flags or anything like that. But yeah, some of the imagery. This one here was just kind of a mashup that appeared in one of the videos I was watching. One of the news channels was playing the video of it, and they were just panning, you know, doing like one photo to another, and I froze the frame right there where they had went from one image to another, and it created a whole new image, and whole new iconic image, right? Yeah, taken by a dude named Evan Vucci, Vucci. So definitely more to come, folks, if I can help it. Stay safe and mindful. Know that I appreciate you and that you matter very much to me.
We predict the future. The best way to predict the future is to invent it.